What's going on, folks? Y'all see the title. I'm not going to waste too much time. Let's just go ahead and get into this. There we go. All right, let's do it. Let's go back to the beginning of this and let's hear it. And you know what? Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this real short. Because I know what this, he spends a lot of time saying, well, actually, Jimmy Dore isn't that bad. And he has his points, but Jimmy Dore isn't a leftist. He's a grifter, and everything else, right? So let me get to I'm going to cut to this last bit right here. Here we go. This last 10 minutes. I'm going to make this real easy. That way y'all don't have to spend, 45 minutes listening to this bullshit.
Over Steven Crowder calling Mazda like a fag, basically, and a fairy, and sending
I didn't listen. Okay,
not supporting Medicare for all actually helps her. He's actually making an optics argument when he's saying that AOC should
optics. Oh boy, I'm so tired of my optics. I'm so tired of that argument.
All of the political effectiveness on the table in order to force a meaningless vote for Medicare for all for a virtue signal. He's saying that it's okay for her to not support Medicare for all, for Tulsi to not support Medicare for all because of optics.
Talking point away of, hey, they're going to take away your health care. They're going to take away your health care. They're going to make it illegal for you to get private health insurance, and then the government's going to run in. And so that takes away all that because they're not outlawing private health insurance.
Yeah, which means it's not Medicare for all. Again, there's a lot of stuff like this. You can go back through Jimmy Dore's history if you want, but he has, for example, somebody linked this in chat earlier, back when Carlos Maza was beefing with Steven Crowder over Steven Crowder calling Maza like a fag, basically, and a fairy, and sending thousands of people to harass him. I'm pretty sure Jimmy...
Oh, boy. That has been debunked. The thing is that Carlos Maza, the reason that he wanted to get him off was because he was working for the union. All right? They were doing a union thing, okay? That's the whole thing, is that Vaush was going to cut the union. And a lot of their business and a lot of their money comes from YouTube ad money. This is well known about Carlos Maza. This is fairly well known that he was working for the union to do that so that they could get some better chairs and whatnot. And notice, then Carlos Maza left Vaush, and now he's doing his own thing and all that business, right? So he's moved on to another grift. That's all it is. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, oh my gosh, I mean, it's literally, I mean, the thing is, beyond that though, is it's literally two fags fighting. It literally is. I don't give a shit what you say. It's just, when Steven Crowder comes out of the closet, it'll be so much easier, but he won't. He's going to be like that Roy Cohn guy. Roy Cohn, of course, was with Trump and all that business. Or at least his dad, I think. And, a dude that was just so trapped in the closet. It was unbelievable. But it's like, yeah. Two fags fighting. That's all it is. Go ahead.
Dore made fun of Carlos Maza for wanting to, censor YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was a ploy. As I just said, it's a ploy. Is it? You have all the, like I say, the standard arguments that I give, but it's like, you see these folks who want to continue to censor the internet and everything else, but as long as it's not them, they don't want to be censored. But, the minute that somebody else gets censored, it's like, oh, but you shouldn't censor my video where I'm talking bad about Assad and all. It's like, you can't have, it's like, people think that it's a one-way street. It's like, no. YouTube is going to censor everybody that they don't like. But yeah, go ahead.
Promoted a number of conspiracy theories. He was one of those people who dismissed the Russiagate thing entirely, saying that it was a Democrat manufactured bullshit.
Yeah, that's true, though. The thing is with the whole Russia thing is, if Russia was so effective at it in 2016, why didn't it work in 2020? Did we all just suddenly... Did the intelligence services suddenly pull their heads out of their asses? I think even Trump now is ironically saying that the Russians did interfere with the elections. We've gone full circle. But it's like, look, I jumped off the Trump train. I just said why he was better. I know that people are probably going to say, oh, you're some Trump fan, this and that. But I'm not going to even say that. But it's like, I jumped off it. I've moved on. The reality is that, yeah, Joe Biden is in office now. And Joe Biden is not going to be reversing a lot of the stuff that Donald Trump did. That's the reality. He's not going to. He's going to be the same type of guy. But yeah, go ahead. It's all promises until he actually does something.
Yeah. Is it true? This actually, somebody in chat said this. Is it true he didn't support Bernie Sanders in 2020 because Bernie Sanders wouldn't go on a show?
I don't care.
Is that true? The only reason that he didn't support Bernie Sanders was because he wouldn't make him money by going on a show? Is that actually true? Wow, that's actually incredible. So you'd think that if he's that open with his grift, people would realize this by now. But no, guys, Jimmy Dore.
You're a grifter as well, though, Vaush. Come on. It was funny earlier in the video. He's like, "Oh, well, online content creators don't have any." Or yeah, I'm sorry for saying that. That's kind of cringe. But it's like online people don't have any influence over the election. It's like me, I don't have any connection, this and that. And it's like, it's funny that he, was talking about, the video where AOC is talking to him only got 87,000 views or something like that. It's like they still play this numbers game as if that matters. But even more so is, let me be careful about my argument here. But what I was saying is that basically is like, he's like, oh, well, Destiny got this many. It's like he didn't. It's funny that he didn't want to mention himself and say, oh, well, I've gotten this many views when I talked to Eric Stryker or something like that. It's just like, was he purposely trying to be humble? I thought that was very odd, But yeah, go ahead.
Or is it a fucking ally? Even if you agree with his plan,
he's not an ally.
Do this stupid bullshit that won't
Whatever.
work. Even if you actually believe that, Jimmy Dore is, in addition to being a fucking moron, not a leftist. He's not even a socialist. Why?
He's not a leftist. Whoa. The thing is, man. The thing is this: is that I appreciate his energy. All right, and it's like, that's what people like. They like that energy. They don't like your energy, Vaush, where you just spend your time just being snarky and just, thinking that you've gone from this idea where, what, go ahead and continue. He's going to make the point for me.
There are socialists who defend Jimmy Dore. He's literally not even a socialist. There are a lot of stupid poll types that do the same.
I've said the same thing. It's the energy. It is the energy. It's about the energy that he portrays. They don't like people like you who just think, oh, well, actually, you've already made your bed with the whole, well, actually, Finland wasn't that bad and all that business. You have made your choice on that, Vaush. So it's like you've already done the crossover. I think earlier in this clip, he's like, excuse me, no, that was another one. He's like, am I neoliberal? It's like, yes, you are.
Thing with Michael Tracy. Michael Tracy's not even remotely left-leaning. And neither is Jimmy Dore. I mean, Jimmy Dore doesn't like cops. I guess that's nice. Jimmy Dore
Oh, go ahead.
Criticize the Dems. But I don't hear Jimmy Dore talking very affirmatively about any of the serious substantive changes he wants to make to society. Which is a little bit weird because I thought that was what socialists were all about. Why is it that socialists...
Okay, so hold on, Vaush. The thing is, though, is that the stuff that you are advocating for, how is that different than what the Democrats want? Is that you talk about, market socialism, you talk about the idea, it's like, well, we can, I want everyone to be able to vote and whatnot. It's just not about color. And of course, like I said, that's a classic cracker type thing where it's just like, it's not about color, this and that. Everyone should be able to vote, this and that. It's very vague itself, But yeah, go ahead.
Throw people under the bus for not being far left enough unless that person is sufficiently anti-woke, in which case it's okay if they're not far left enough because at least they're doing the due diligence of criticizing the most left-leaning political people we have in Congress right now.
Yeah. The thing is, it's just this is the example of what the left is about. Where it's just like, well, we're going to criticize the most left-leaning folks. So it's like, we're going to continue to stand them. He's tried to make some inroads and said, well, AOC is not my friend. She's still a liberal in some ways. Or maybe I'm taking it out of context. But it's like, he makes these points, and it's like, okay, well, what are you really about then? What are you really about? Are you about creating socialism? And then he's like, well, if it comes down to revolution, then okay, yeah, I'll join them. But it's like, what do you, you know what I mean? I don't get it. I don't get it, the whole argument that he has. But yeah, please go ahead.
If you want to go into Jimmy Dore's comment section, you'll find a fuck ton of Republicans, and that's because his channel is and always has been about making money off of distinguishing himself from the Democrats. He's a pick-me, is what he is. He's on the left, but all he does is criticize Democrats. That's his entire fucking job.
He has criticized Republicans as well. It's just not as much. Now, the thing is, that's not me being a bootlicker or anything else like that, but it's like, this is literally the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other, because it's like, okay, you criticize my Nazis and, my Republicans all the time, and you don't really go in on Democrats that much. So far, you haven't really said that much bad stuff about Joe Biden yet. Are you going to go at Joe Biden when he inevitably doesn't change that much and he produces more austerity? We'll see, won't we? We shall see. So, I mean, you can criticize him and say, oh, well, it's all Republicans in his chat. Yeah, that's where he makes his money. Why do you knock him for that? Why do you knock him for making money? It's like you take money from shit libs. So it's just like, I don't get this argument where it's just like, I'm going to criticize the way he makes money. Okay, it's like, you make the same type of money, jackass. What do you, go ahead.
So that other people who don't like the Democrats, you'll find are mostly conservatives, or at the very least, not our political allies. Because if you don't even...
So hold on. And for people that don't like the Republicans and Nazis, they give money to you. It's the inverse relationship. It's not even horseshoe there. This is just, bruh, this is how people make money online. It's the same thing with getting a Substack or something like that. That's how they make money. I don't get this. You got to have a con in this land of milk and honey. That's all I have to say. You got to have a con.
Even support the Democrats against the Republicans, how can you possibly lay claim to any progressive struggle? And then he just makes money from that distinction, And that's that. Pretty sure AOC is more left than Jimmy Dore. AOC is objectively more to...
And yet, people like Cornel West continue to fall for the meme. We see various folks fall for this meme apparently, but I know, I guess it's all just Republicans in there, so who cares? I guess when Richard Wolff is talking with conservatives and everything else, and I don't get it. Go ahead.
To the left of Jimmy Dore. Apparently, the only reason he supports Medicare for all in this particular instance is because it's giving him more money off the drama he's manufacturing from stirring up shit with AOC. I am glad that AOC and the other Justice Dems, their political instincts have evolved. I remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there were some, every once in a while, it felt
I love this back. I love how commentators, like, I do the same thing too. But it's like, I love the way he talks about this. Go ahead.
They'd get into a beef they didn't need to get into.
Kind of like the New York Post business where AOC was upset that the New York Post doxed a woman who had an OnlyFans account while she was I think she was an ambulance medic, I guess, for lack of a better term, or an ambulance nurse. Because apparently she didn't make enough money, I guess. It's just like, well, that sounds like petty beef that really has nothing to do with you. But, yeah. In other words, she still does that type of shit.
There was some variance. Sometimes, like, AOC would do something, and I think, is that really it? No politician is perfect. I mean, for God's sake, you should, criticize whoever you can. But
criticize whoever you can.
She's gotten better.
But she's gotten better. I love that. Go ahead.
And the thought of there being leftists online who were legitimately changing their position on the most left-leaning people in government because of the positions of Jimmy fucking Dore, who's been a clown show his entire career, by the way. Like, This isn't new. Like, his whole career has been this contrarian grifting. He has good takes from time to time.
I love that he says, well, he's got good takes from time to time, but he's not a leftist. How are you a leftist, Vaush? Because you read Lenin and you misquoted him?
Doesn't mean he's not a contrarian grifter. Spitting on Alex Jones, that's a good take. That doesn't mean he's not a contrarian grifter. And the whole identifying as a comedy show thing, I mean, I think that really cinches it right there.
That's what The Daily Show did. The Daily Show did that. And you have said that you, as far as I know, that you like, he has some begrudging respect for John Oliver. So I don't know what you're talking about with that. When you say, oh, well, it's a comedy show. It's like, plenty of folks do the same thing. That's called television. That's called edutainment, I believe. It's going to be edu-politics pretty soon. But yeah, go ahead.
Because anytime you fuck up politically, you can always fall back. Oh, no, I'm just trying to get a reaction, you know? We know why he does what he does, folks. Jimmy Dore, 844,000 subscribers. How many views? How many views are we getting off this?
I believe as the lefties like to say is that correlation does not equal causation. So I think it's interesting where it's just like, oh, well, how much money is he really getting? That's the real question. You know, go ahead.
Actually, not as many as I expected.
I know that was a shit take, but oh well.
Well, okay, well. Maybe he needs to grift harder. I was expecting like a 500,000 view video or something like that. Bernie on forcing the vote for Medicare for all. Wait, what is Bernie's?
Yeah, we know it's a meme. We know it's, yeah.
You don't trade any political effectiveness for have this. Forcing the vote is bad is for a couple of reasons. So the argument that's being raised right now is that AOC and the rest of the Justice Dem should do this so they can force a vote to see who's really our allies. First of all, like more than half of the Democrats in the House have openly said they don't support Medicare for all. We already have a huge list of people who aren't our allies with regards to Medicare for all, okay? Why the fuck would you engage in this ploy to get a list of names when we already know who we don't support? Like, we already have this. And why the fuck would AOC trade any political effectiveness for a vote that she knows isn't going to work? When people say ignoring a Medicare for all vote during a health crisis, you're a fucking clown, bro, okay? You're a fucking clown. First of all, there is 0% chance of Medicare for all passing, even if for some fucking reason, every single Democrat.
You know, I want to be careful here with this. Vaush may be correct, but I think that what Jimmy Dore serves is not for trying to make AOC budge or to force Medicare for all. It's not that. I'm going to repeat this again. I know people are, I know that I'm going to get some mauling Vaush fans in the chat and in the comments, and that's fine. But it's not about AOC doing that. It's not about AOC getting Medicare for all. It's about the energy. And it's about showing that they don't care about you. And it's about trying to build actual resistance to the United States. That's what it's meant to. But guys like you are still worrying about the electoralist idea, where it's like, well, we have to wait for them to, we have to wait for the electoral politics to get through. And that's bullshit. Electoralism is nonsense, and it's a mess, and it's never going to work completely your way. What Jimmy Dore serves is to build up resistance for the average person to see what these politicians are actually doing. That's the point. He's not there to try to, at least that's my view of it. Maybe that's 3D thinking. Maybe that's, 4D chess type of moves or anything else. Maybe so. I don't know. But I appreciate the energy behind it. Whereas people like you are just like, well, it's not going to happen. And just get over it, basically. Let's hear what he says. Go ahead.
I got behind it and passed through the House. It's not getting through the Senate. So I don't know why the fuck you would waste your time arguing. There are actually people saying that, like, it's heartless. Those who are saying AOC is justified in not forcing this vote because we're in the middle of a pandemic. Bro, it's not getting passed. It's not happening. the best you're hoping for is a virtue signal. And by the way, even if for some fucking reason the House and the Senate both passed the Medicare for All legislation, do you think it would be implemented in time to address the pandemic? We're already rolling.
Hold on. Address the pandemic. Okay. I think that he recorded this a couple of days, so I will give him the benefit of the doubt. But he says the pandemic, but he said, hold on, go ahead.
Rolling out vaccines.
We're rolling out vaccines. Now, as said though, is that the UK has a new strain of COVID coming out. Is that vaccine going to take care of that? No, it's not. But like I say, I think this is from today, so maybe still disingenuous. But I don't. Like I say, let's go ahead and continue on though.
You have any idea how long it's going to take to roll out Medicare for All? This is like a incredibly substantial. Actually, 50.64% of Democrats have co-sponsored Medicare for All. Oh, well, that's still not half the House, though, is it? It would need to be almost every Democrat, wouldn't it? Unless you think Republicans are going to join on board. But okay, more than half. That's nice.
And then he just kind of backpedals a little bit and then right back.
The Medicare for All is like an incredibly substantial, like groundbreaking piece of legislation. It's not going to get implemented in a couple of months. In fact, I'm pretty sure, Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan has a multi-year public option transition plan. Unironically, Bernie Sanders' plan includes a transition period where we have a government healthcare option, and then we slowly consolidate everything into that while we dissolve private healthcare. This stuff would take years. And
so the thing is that he says all this, but he's part of this same group, I would imagine, that said we only have like 10 or 12 years left before climate change, affects the world in a negative way, oceans rising and everything else. And it's like, if they feel this way, now maybe this is somewhat disingenuous here, but I'm just going to say it nonetheless, is that if he thinks this way about Medicare for All and, providing health care for everyone, then what does he think about climate change and limiting, the use of coal, the, electric cars, more electric cars, or, planting more trees or whichever. I mean, I'm just pulling stuff out of my ass, but it's like, what does he think about that? Well, it's going to take time. All that sort of thing. It's just going to take time. Well, all these people are going to die. Well, we don't care about them. Or, well, we should have planned for this better and all this. It's like, well, people have known about this since the 1970s. Well, it's like, I wish I could be this lazy. It's like, you're just justifying my laziness. Like, well, it'll just take time. So, who cares? It goes to show that these folks really aren't leftists. They're just people that will ultimately just agree with the Democrats and say, yeah, I'm a socialist. When in reality, they're not. Or I'm an anarchist. These people aren't. And this is also what happens, though. When you're so against authoritarianism or against some foreign authoritarianism that you've been taught about, Stalin, this and that you don't care about other than, homegrown authoritarianism. You'll give lip service to hating the cops or et cetera, but it's like, whatever. So yeah, I'm sure that I await the comments from the Vaush followers. I do. Who are going to skewer me and say, you're taking him out of context, or go ahead. Please do. I love you. I love the Vaush comments, though. Mwah. Oh, I wait the comments. I do. Continue.
If you want a public option, which is the only thing you'd be able to get from an immediate vote for Medicare for All, Biden wants a public option. So there's no point. So stop bringing up the argument that it's...
Stop bringing it up. Yeah. Stop bringing it up. Stop criticizing these folks who are going to, give you the bare minimum, stop doing that. Stop fighting with them. Stop, complaining that you just got $600, you baby. Quit complaining, And then you wonder why people become thieves or they, join all this type of stuff when it's like, go ahead.
In the middle of a pandemic, you're not helping people with a pandemic, okay? You're virtue signaling, all right? This is a virtue signal. You're literally saying, why don't we trade political effectiveness so we can find out who doesn't support us? You can already find out who doesn't support us. Maybe some people say they support us, and it turns out they're not actually going to. Who the fuck cares? We already have lists of people who say they're not going to support us and who don't support us. Do you think there are people who say they don't support us who are then magically going to support us in a virtue signal vote for Medicare for all? Okay? It's not going to happen. There's no benefit, all right? Holy shit. It's so fucking weird. People talk about this like this is the threshold of like political advocacy for Medicare for all. Guys, we're not getting Medicare for all anytime in the next 4 years, okay? It's not happening. I'm really sorry. You can believe if you want to that this is me being conciliatory and a moderate and I'm a Pelosi stan or whatever. It's not happening, okay? It's never going to happen in the next 4 years.
Yeah, I love that. It's never going to happen. See, look, he showed his hand. He showed his hand, and he's right. He is right, though. It will never happen. It will never happen. We're only going to get the public option. Just crumbs, basically. Some sort of, He showed his hand, but then he's like, well, in the next 4 years, we got to wait 4 years for more people. It's like, really? All those folks have to wait. They have to just keep waiting. This is the type of thing. This is why it's the same thing with the military, isn't it? The hurry up and wait mindset, It's like, yeah, we need all these, we need you to keep giving us money. Keep giving me money so that we can, Biden saying, please keep giving me money so that I can get into office. And then what does he say? He's like, man, you're going to get replaced by Hispanics by 2030. So good luck, fucker. It's just like, okay. I may not be a progressive like AOC. And all he said was, you're coming off as a petulant child. This doesn't sound good. That's all he said, basically. Go ahead.
It's impossible for it to happen. We had a referendum on this. Bernie Sanders lost. Biden won. That's it. We can do other things. We can make other advocacies for the public good. It's not going to happen. Okay? Stop. It's not going to happen. Vaush Shapiro, I'm not talking that fast. Okay? Chill out. You just had me on 1.25, okay? Chill the fuck out, all right? Guys, I understand that sucks, but like you realize that even getting a public option would be a huge step forward for this country, right? I don't like Biden's plan either, but there are a lot of people, Jimmy Dore fans, they'll say, oh, wow, you really like the public option, don't you? No, just realize when you've lost. As far as I'm concerned, the only good advocacy for progressivism is advocacy which works. If it doesn't work, it's not good. I don't know. There are so many people that are like, I do what I want on principle. Okay, sure, bro. All right. Fantastic.
Well, the thing is, hold on. The thing is, though, is that he has to bring this up because he has said that what he says is left-wing people are now adopting this sort of Jimmy Dore mindset. So apparently, it's working to a point, isn't it? And that you don't like that. Which is why you had to bring it up again. Because your friends or your comrades, or at least the people that you think are on your side, are agreeing with Jimmy Dore. And you don't like that. So now you have to make this thing. This is the simultaneous sort of thing where it's like, okay, Jimmy Dore is irrelevant, but he's influencing all these other left-wing folks that are throwing away all this time. If he's such a non-person, why do you need to bring him up? That's my view. But yeah, go ahead.
I've gone through this analogy before, and I know it doesn't fucking matter because all the Jimmy Dore fans will have already downvoted or disliked this video. It doesn't matter. I know, by the way, what responses Jimmy Dore fans get, or the critics of Jimmy Dore get for all the videos and tweets and stuff. There are so many people who on Twitter who have been getting fucking dogpiled by Jimmy Dore fans. So fucking infuriating, dude. They're all so goddamn stupid. And like everybody associated with Tulsi Gabbard, she's like a fucking IQ black hole. It's insane. And now Tulsi Gabbard, by the way, Tulsi Gabbard now passing turf.
And this is okay. So once again, where the hell does this come from? Okay. Oh my gosh. So because he had Tulsi Gabbard on, let's go ahead and talk more about Tulsi Gabbard. I don't get this. Go ahead.
Legislation and pro-life legislation, and not a word from Jimmy Dore, by the way. Not a word from Jimmy Dore. No criticism. Yeah.
So there we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was, yeah. Well, it took 30 minutes for me just to talk through that 15 minutes. Like I say, I cut it down just the bare minimum because the rest of it was just nonsense and just him just being like, well, Jimmy Dore made good points, but just keep waiting. That's all you can do, folks. Basically, that is their response. Hey, just keep waiting. Just keep protesting, keep, bashing the fash and all this. Eventually, things will come around, Just keep waiting. Things are getting worse, Standard of living getting worse. It'll be okay. Just keep waiting. Eventually, we'll get there. Just give it some time. There's a difference between realizing that you're not going to go anywhere versus slow motion. That's two different things. And I get the impression that things are not moving. It would be nice to think that there is some sort of slow motion happening. I don't see it. And the Vaush fans who are going to see this, because obviously I do want clout, I'll be honest. But for the Vaush fans that do see this, please tell me what Joe Biden is going to do when he talks about climate change and everything else. Please do. I await when Joe Biden comes in. And I await all those things that'll happen. I await. All the the great things he's going to do, the electric cars and whatnot that Joe Biden is going to give us. The free healthcare. Oh no, that's not going to happen. or the college. Is he going to help with that? Oh, probably not. But yeah, I await those things, and I await the bootlicking to commence. But yeah, that's all I can say. I hope y'all enjoy this. See you later, and goodbye.